Righto, a couple of little progressive steps today. Doors aligned and console fitted up. Now I haven't fitted it in because I want to take it back out and do some stuff to it. But that's the screws we've got in the bottom there. So the two going to the mount on the turret of the car. And I've now drilled in a couple of holes. Oh, excuse me while I do this. Into the front of the car, and there's one there. You should be able to see it. I can't never bloody tell when I film with this thing. And not done up tight, and it's sitting proud because the loom for the cruise control is going through, which we've got the cruise control working now. That's great. So that's really firm. So we've got 4 good fasteners now. We've got metal frame front, metal frame rear, insulation at the front. The carpet will take up the slack at the front there anyway, so I'll probably get Steve the upholsterer to, you can see the loom going there, make a bit of a cut out in the carpet, or we'll work something out. Maybe we'll run the whole loom under the carpet before we put the console down. Actually, that's what we'll do. In fact, I think I did that before. So I'm happy with that. You might have noticed we've got our new little chrome inset there. Found that on, I think, Evil Bay. I really can't remember. I really cannot remember where I found it. I think it was eBay. But yeah, that's a nice little piece. So that's just glued in, unlike the original one, which uses the holes. And don't forget, this is an XB console, so you know the XC one had a twin row chrome thing. You can't get them anymore. So mobs that are refurbishing the XABC console, I notice, are using this expensive bit of plastic from memory. I think it was 190 bucks, I can't remember. It wasn't cheap, but I thought it was a nice finishing touch. So now we'll take the console back out, put the fasteners aside for it, and we're going to put a new gearbox boot in, and we've got a brand new lid to go on from Rare Spare. So it'll be a very good looking console once we do that. And then I'll probably put it back in the car again, temp fitted, so it'll just stay there, less chance of damage if it's in the car. Yeah, we're moving right along. So the next thing after we do this is repair the armrests around where the power windows go, because that's all broken up. So I won't film again until I've started doing that, I think. Yep. Righto, so we've got a temporary fit here of the boot. What I end up doing with that, in my situation, I don't know what other consoles look like because I haven't looked at them, but there's little studs in here. I'll take a screw out if I can find a screwdriver when I need one, which is never. And these little spaces here are off a TV. So what I did, there we go. These are off a TV mount, and in fact they were too long, so I cut 2 in half, and that made up a nice little spacer which allows us to go over these studs and press the plate in position and hold the boot in position nicely. So I'll still glue it onto here, but that was just a temp fit to see what it looks like. So that's tick 1. The other thing is I need to repair something that was done 25, 26 years ago now, and that's this piece of vinyl. A good friend of mine cut this for me and installed it, and it's lasted a long time, but it won't adhere to this area. And of course I've used Armrest many times over the years cleaning the car, and it's got in, it's broken the glue down. So I could try and clean it up and reattach it, but I think the best way to do that is to pull it completely out, which I'll do. And I believe I've still got some of this material from all those years ago. I'm fairly certain I've got it up in the mezzanine. So I'm going to jump up, and we might just cut a new one out so we've got fresh material, and glue it back down. The thing is getting the cruise control module off. It's held on by double-sided tape, and let me tell you, it's not going anywhere. And again, that's been there 25 years, because this console didn't come out of the XC, it came out of a ZH Fairlane. In fact, I lie. I got it for the ZH Fairlane because the ZH Fairlane was a column shift. So I got it from an XB from someone I knew back in the day. I really don't remember. I don't remember who the hell I bought it off. It's been that long ago. But anyway, this is all looking good. And we've got the latch all cleaned up, sandblasted and painted for the new lid. And it's all going to look Mickey Mouse. But I thought, I might as well go ahead and do the whole hog. But that's just going to be mint. Really mint. So we might as well finish the job to a high level as we can go to, eh? Anyway. Righto, so that's the old insert, and I've decided it's too problematic to repair it, get all the glue off it and reuse it, so we'll bin that. I did have the vinyl, so I've got a lot of it actually. So that was no problem, except this wrinkly as bugger ant needed a good clean. God knows what that is. Ugh. And I just ironed it. There's the iron over there. My wife would be so happy I brought the iron out to the shed. Not. But it worked. Just go over a good steaming, and there you go. There's the new one there. So I'm not a upholsterer's bumhole, let's face it. I'm not much of a panel beater either. I'm just an amateur. I fix aeroplanes. That's about it. That's all I'm good at. So I think that'll do. So what I'm going to do now, I've masked it off. And I've got my trusty aerosol can of contact adhesive, heavy duty headline and carpet adhesive. About dead. This will be the last job I'll get out of this can. And I'll just adhere this down, pull the tape off, and then it's got to clean in there with some Armrest and a bit of Scotch-Brite once it's all down. But there you go. We'll give it a whack and see how we go. Righto, there we are, glued down, and I treat it like I would any paint job. Not that I do a lot of paint, but if I've masked a paint job, I rip the masking tape off ASAP. Last thing I wanted to do is glue masking tape in with contact cement. Slight oversize here, so I've got I don't know what they call an artist's knife, whatever it's called. So I've just got to give that ever so slightly a trim in there. Mind you, you won't see that because the cruise control is going to sit there anyway, but I'll still cut it out because I know it's there. And then, like I said, once it's all dried, I'll give it a day or so, then I'll get back in with the arm roll and a screwdriver, just get into here, and that'll clean all this crap up again. And all I've got to do now is do the folds like such. They're not glued yet, but that's going to look pretty damn good actually. Not too unhappy with that for a dead set rank amateur upholsterer. Anyway, males here. Right, well, it's getting around that time where the teddy bear's getting anxious and going, righto Dad, it's time to throw the ball and have a beer, but we've got stuff to do today. Just talking about screws for a second, because this might save somebody. You've got these little studs here, and there were other ones for the automatic. And I've made up these spaces, like I said before, with the TV mount kit. Now, obviously I've had screws in here before, and this one's probably stripped. My only tip here is, right at the moment, I've got 3 different types of screws in play. Sorry, these two will look like that one. This one here is one of these ones, but I'm not sure if that's even going to work in this case. That looks like it is probably stripped. So we're going to have to go to one of these. Now, this is just one of those little points in case. That is a bumper bar screw off the grill. That's what these are. So when I've wrecked the Fairlane, I think is where I must have done that. Again, 25 years ago, whatever the hell it was. I've kept all the hardware, all these special little bits of hardware, and that's just a really good tip. Never throw out hardware, because you'll never know. You just need options. In this case, I need this option. Now, this is probably going to be a little too tight, especially if I wind all the way down. Then we're going to run the risk of snapping the stud don't want that. So what I'm going to do is shorten this down and probably tape it a little bit on the linisher here, and then we'll come back, because these are only nipped up to minimal, probably 5-inch pound, 10-inch pound at best. Bugger all is the point. Bugger all, just enough so it holds in. I can probably do a little bit more on that one, I've just realised. So, but it depends on the spacer as well. So just a bit of finessing, and be bloody careful, because you break plastic studs, you're buggered really. There's no real way of gluing them back that I have found. Someone may have found a way that I haven't, that reliably makes them as strong as what they were originally. So I've got a little bit more out of that, so you can see that's spinning now, so I'll just torque those two screws down a bit more, and we'll see how we go. But screws, options, not one screw fits all in these sort of scenarios, that's all. Just be careful. There we are. So console complete. Not a lot to talk about. New boot, cruise control fitted back. The new vinyl, as I said, I did that the other day. The chrome bit, just wiped it all down with an Armrest wipe. Got rid of all the staining from when I cleaned it with Kero, to ensure that the glue had somewhere nice to sit down no matter what. New lid from Rare Spares. Very happy with the quality of this. For info, the way I fitted it was just put the short ends of the hinge into the hard plastic of the console, the long ends into the lid itself, because it's soft. I assume that's how it goes. I haven't seen any instruction, but it just made sense. I don't think you'd get it fitted the other way. And then put it in at the back, and then swung it to this little hinge, was able to get inside the lid, and then just gently pulled it back until aligned, and it popped in. Job done. Put the lug back on, put your cable in, so less chance of it breaking, and beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So all I've got to do tomorrow is just resolder the loom. For some reason I could not get these pins out, and I've got pin removal clips, and I tried and bugger it, it's just taking too much time. So I'll just solder these back together, standard practice, cut them all at different lengths so you don't have solders next to each other, but no big deal. I just couldn't get these pins out for some reason. Anyway, normally I would have been able to do that, but don't know, don't really care. I'm very, very happy with how this console looks, and I know that the thing is that much stronger because this is all steel in here, steel and a steel piece in under there, and steel all the way down the bottom of it. It's all resined into place with metal set, and also you probably can't see that there, sorry about that, but I put another insulator in there, and that'll squeeze down nice onto the mount. Now, like I said, this is not the factory console out of this car, and the Fairlane had two mounts, but it had a centre seat, if you will. It was a column auto. So probably why, when I think about it now, I originally had all these extra holes in there for mounting. I'd say those four there, that's because that's what the Fairlane had. So I got this car out of an XB, put it into an XC or ZH Fairlane that I'd converted over from column to a 4-speed. I put a 4-speed in the Fairlane back in the day with a GS dash. That was flash. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this. I've tried it with the gear lever. Nothing's hitting. I've got clearance. I had to do a bit of mods to the plate under here. Had to grind a bit of metal out of the retainer plate. Doesn't look that pretty under there. I don't really care. You don't see that bit. It's irrelevant. It looks great here where it matters, and it works. It's functional, and yeah, I'm really happy. If you can't tell by my voice, I'm actually really happy with this. What do you think, Princess? Hey? You think you haven't thrown the ball for me yet, Dad? That's what you're thinking. Hey, where's your ball? Where's the ball? Where's that ball? Where is it? Hey, where's the ball? Where is it? Righto, so next issue for the XC. So this is one of the spare dashes I've got. I've got a few sets I've accumulated over the years. And I'm just after a reference point of what the Speedo should get with a X RPM input. So the old Milwaukee chucked onto the spigot or whatever you want to call it, and we get a consistent 120, 121, 120 kilometers an hour. Okay. Remember, these are drag cup Speedo, which is old school technology. It's not electronic. It's not an impulse pickup. So it's just a cable driving a set of gears effectively, and then you have a magnetic field spinning around a magnetic pickup. Probably way to describe it. At the end of the day, depending on the strength of the field spinning around it against a spring tension, the drag cup will move loosely. Not a good explanation, Blue, but essentially that's how it works. And in fact, the Taco and my Massey Ferguson still uses that technology, and some aircraft engines still use it. So, Lycoming specifically, and some Continentals. What I've got to do now is I don't have anyone to help me, so I was going to take the cable off the gearbox. It'd be the cheapest way, easiest way to do it, and then run it off the spigot off the gearbox. But I can't do that, and I know this thing isn't running right, so what I'm going to do now is put the car up in the hoist and just show you what it's not doing. Probably the best way to do it. We'll run it up at 1500 RPM, fourth gear, which should translate to 60 kilometers an hour, and it's just not. Righto, so I got the car up on the hoist at the lowest point, down on lock, of course. So we'll just give her a kick in the guts, just make sure engine bay is clear. It's always a good thing to do. No tools, rags, all that sort of stuff. Haven't been here for a while and done much in the engine bay. All good. So we'll just jump on in and we'll see what's going on with this bloody Speedo, which used to work just fine. Oh God, I'm not getting younger or prettier. Righto, power window lamp hanging, looks good. Neutral. Ramp the old holly up. If it's not charging the battery to kick this thing over. Understatement. Alright. It does start well. It does start really, really good. Now. Tilde outside, gone. Outside. Make sure the Labradors are clear of wheels. The old retro radio booting up. So I'll just turn the lights on so we can see instruments better. So it's going to go straight to fourth gear. It's going to turn the cruise control on as well, just to show you what that does and doesn't do. So just clutch out in fourth. And I've barely got no speed. I reckon the cable might have. No, it's flickering. So I'll look at the Holly for RPM, because the gauge isn't good either. I might swap out this entire cluster. Go to monitor, multi-gauge, drop it on the console, good one Blue, multi-gauge, vitals. Right, so RPM is 900 and whatever thousand. Let's bring that up. Bear in mind the wheels are spinning, yeah? RPM. Yeah, the gauge is pretty close to the Holly actually. That's saying 1600. That's saying 1600. So the tacho's not too bad. But I got no speedo at all now. Nothing. 2000 should be around 100. And we've got nothing. So let's kind of flick it up to 5th. So I get a bit of load on the thing. There we go. Now it's running. There we go. So 1500. Should be 60. And you can see that it's clearly not. 2000. Should be 80. And you can see it hasn't bloody moved. 2.5 should be 100. And it's just not moving. So we've got variable tacho and constant speed. Must be a Mackie. Alright, back to 5th. And just a slow speed test of the cruise control. And what you should see is the RPM rise, then just drop off. There it goes. So in other words, it's engaged, it's sensing overspeed, as in too quick acceleration, and it disengages. So I'm happy that's working. I just did that again because I had to break the loom down here and I've re-soldered that together. So cruise is all good, get rid of that. Clearly we have a problem with the speedo. So unfortunately, I got to rip the dash out again. Didn't want to do that, but these things happen. Okay, just back got the dash out. I thought I'd maybe reiterate, in fact, a couple of things about pulling the dash out of one of these old cars. The plastics are just so fragile, and good luck repairing these things. So just some tips. One, this is a rare piece because it's still got all 4 lugs. Now, I've pointed this out before, but I'm at ad nauseum, do it again. These little holes are meant to be there. And the reason they're there is so that you can get something like, oh, excuse me, a number 1, well no, it's not even number 1, that's a half, I believe, Phillips. And just prod it through the hole there, and what it does is it just bends that little tab away and helps you gently pull the fascia out. Yeah, so that's what they're for. They're there for a reason. And then when these two pop out, these two will just let go. And they just sit into that lip there. And then the top ones sit into the fascia, I believe. I think, yeah, they sit behind the fascia. So that's one tip. 2, don't ever try and rip these out of an XCDE. Right, you just won't rip it out. There's a hole here. I think it's pretty well publicised. And in behind here, you put your finger right up and you'll find a little lug. You press that in, you'll find it moves. It's quite difficult. You might want to get something to try and prod it in, but your finger will do. Just push as hard in as you can that way. And that is designed to release your light switch. Next thing, this can stay in place. So I don't believe we need to take out the coin holder, and I think you find most people go and rip the coin holder out first and then find it won't get past here, because it won't. And that's why you see so many of these broken around here. So we're just going to leave that in place. We don't need to take it out. We don't need to drop the steering all the way. I've dropped it all but all the way. And I prefer to do that because I'm just not going to put as much pressure on connections and wiring and shitty little things like this. It's just an earth on an earth, so it doesn't matter that that's exposed. I need to extend the earth for the illumination of my aircon compressor switch, which is a mod I did. So again, I put this in so I can bypass the vacuum switch, I think it is, I'm trying to remember now. and I can run the compressor on cold, was the idea of that. Sorry, on hot. Shut up, Blue. On hot, for demisting purposes, like new cars do. So then, all you then need is a really long screwdriver to get into these ones here. So as long as the shaft is longer than the depth to the dash, you'll be right. So I'll just finish this off and get this thing out. And you actually really only need that long screwdriver for just that screw there, because the others you can use a short one, and as you can see, it just won't get in there without forcing things, and you don't want to force things with these old dashes. Obviously you take your globes out underneath before you rip your fascia out, and then you just got the 4 screws, and then we'll get to the speedo cable, which is maybe the problem yet, but I suspect the speedo itself has just said enough. Anyway, we'll get it out and have a look. Alright, I made a liar of me. I did drop the steering column all the way. I'll temporarily just put one nut to hold that up while I'm taking the thing onto the bench. Again, a couple more points to note. This is your main loom plug. It's just 2 little clips. Off it comes. Now this one, this is your speedo cable. Now this is aftermarket, but it replicates the original one. What you have here is a little lug, which I don't know if you can see down in that hole, but it's the one where my thumb is now. It grips onto this little loom, and to get it off, you just, again, I always try and do things one-handed, but you push it over from one side and squeeze it out, just like that, and then it'll go down to the abyss if you're not careful. So you can see how it works. So now I'm wondering if we just didn't have proper engagement of this, because straight away, just flicking this thing with my fingers, it seems to work. So we'll take it out on the bench anyway, see if it's consistent with the drill and the other one, and if that's the case, I'll put it back in, but not before. I'll have a look at this, because this is ratty, and now that I've got access to a spare, I think I'll swap this out, because that's junk.